When I first heard that I'd been invited along on the BMW X6 international media launch, I thought, need to do a bit of research. What's this car all about? Guess what? It doesn't even exist on paper. What it is a combination of a coupe and an SAV. Effectively, they both went into the woodshed one night. How's your father? Bit of rompy-pompy, and out came this magnificent X6. Well, that's what it is. Who's it meant for? Probably a male-oriented demographic that don't want to lose performance in place of functionality. After all, us men do like to have our cake and eat it. Our prayers have been answered. Definitely a case of the design team being allowed full reign here to emphasize the BMW trademark icons plus a whole load of new ones. These signature kidneys just literally dominate the front end. Beautiful BMW logo and an amazingly sculptured hood. They call it the bumper on bumper sort of philosophy at the front. What it really means to me is that you have not just an imposing front end, but one that actually brings sort of the stature of the car down low. Rides on these BMW rims, but they literally do sit at each corner of the car. That's quite a clever design feature as well as giving it great balance. Moving down the side, quite rightly so, BMW are exceptionally proud of the side profile of the X6. It's this convergence of all these different lines, the quite unique roofline, the highest point right above the driver and front passenger, the very dramatic wedge shape coming to the front, and yet somehow they've managed to keep the car looking squat on the road, and I think that comes all together at the rear. Make no mistake about it, this is a tall vehicle. Look at this. I mean, I'm 6 foot, and that's I can't even imagine what the first short person's going to think as they get to the trunk and try and open it. But you know, it really is almost an optical illusion, because while it does appear a little bit top heavy, actually when you look at it from a distance, maybe because of the under tray, maybe because again of the bumper on bumper, maybe because these exhaust pipes are just so prominent, it drags the eye line of the car down to a much more manageable sort of line of sight. This is certainly going to cast a revolutionary shape on the roads, and people just turn their heads and look. A+ for the design team. Not often would I start off my interior review by focusing on the seats, but the character and intent of the X6 is well represented by them, starting with the elevated seating position for all 4 seats, with the front ones giving you a great view of the road, and for the driver an up on the wheel sensation that gives you confidence to drive her hard. The rears are separated by the center console with high-rising side supports and integrated headrests. Very much a coupe then. The interior design is a striking mix of diverging lines and surfaces that gives you a sense of luxury with a sporty touch. Nowhere more evident than on the knee pads for the front riders that really do give you something to lean on during the cornering. I love the steering wheel with the aluminum paddle shifters, although they did take me a bit of use to become second nature, as each side can give you up and down shifts, whereas I kept on thinking that the right would be up and the left down. My fault, I think. Obviously, loads of functionality on the wheel to reduce your distractions from driving, but not your attention from the instrument panel, where there really is a racy style to things. I guess my overall impression is that while this is a luxurious vehicle, I can still imagine having my bicycles on the back and jumping in all hot and sweaty without worrying about it. She's not just for looking at. It really is a wonderful treat to be able to take this new X6 X50i out on the street. We got the V8 4.4 litre as our test car, and really they just let us get out onto the road, give us a route map and sort of point us in the right direction. Now, I'll tell you this, the minute I pulled out of the parking lot, my preconceptions of being in an SUV or sports activity vehicle, SAV as BMW like to coin it, disappeared. I am driving what feels to be a performance coupe. It's quite extraordinary. That's what we talked about in the way the car looked, but it's the way it feels when you drive, especially through the steering. And for me, you know I love steering wheels. I'm always talking about the ergonomics of a steering wheel. Well, in this case, it's not just the way it feels, it's the way it functions. And the way, I don't know quite how they've done it, but they've managed to instill in the car a preciseness, a positiveness in the steering feedback, sort of low speed, and still make it very light to the touch. And yet when you get a bit faster, it actually doesn't get wandery at all. It's pretty clever stuff. Now, talking about the steering wheel, it takes a bit of getting used to with the gearboxes on these BMWs, but once you do, they're absolutely bloody brilliant. Right here on each hand, you have an up and a down shifter if you want to use the manual mode. And generally, as you know, although you have the option to go from full automatic to the steering wheel with most cars, you just don't bother. But I think what BMW have really put together, and maybe that's come from some of their Formula One technology, is it's almost just as easy, and they encourage you through the ergonomics to use these up and down shifters. Sheer horsepower without the ability to use it is just redundant. But with 400 horsepower and 450 pounds-foot of torque, what I immediately notice about the X6 is that it leaps to the touch of your foot, which is definitely rewarding. Now, I'm not sure if part of the reinforcement of the power of this completely new car is the amazingly guttural sound from the exhaust pipe. And I just think it's the balance, the two together in tandem really make you feel as though you're getting somewhere. You can't judge a book by its cover in this case, because what appears from the outside to be quite a high center of gravity is not the sensation you get when you're inside. It actually has the continuation of the squat, sort of low rear attitude of the car is what you feel from behind the wheel, with excellent visibility, the benefits of excellent visibility that you get in a SUV category car. And in the end, it drives like a bloody sports car, which is going to make this a very popular vehicle. In the week or so since I tested the X6, I've been trying to put my finger on exactly who and why would buy this vehicle. For sure, standing on its own, the X6 is hard to argue against. She was as much fun to drive on the road as on the track. I could not believe how she handled in every area. But when you are standing in that dealership, what will be running through your mind? If your life demands the space and functionality of an SUV, then you'll be looking for extra seats where none exist. If you're a coupe person, then you may well be thinking to yourself, why do I need to pay for all that extra room? So to help you, for sure, a pure coupe or a pure SUV can do what they were meant to better. But if you're looking for the best of both worlds, then the X6 could be for you. So to be blunt, BMW have created a unique vehicle without direct comparison. Good luck to them, and well done to you if you're able to check off those boxes that allow you to drive one off the lot. You're lucky. You know what I mean.